They couldn't even say we're glad you're okay to start. You have 3 lines. You already know where the blue line will go. From the Fox family, we have some news. Both agreed to go their separate ways after Friday. For a long time has been a strong force on TV, known for standing firm against powerful people and holding unapologetic strong beliefs. With a voice that speaks to many and often stirs up trouble in politics, she has been in the news lately for going after high-profile targets like Kamala Harris, who is running for president and is currently vice president. There have been rumors of a big change, which makes it sound like Ingraham might be getting ready to leave Fox News. So, are these stories based on facts? What caused this possible change? Watch as we delve into Laura Ingraham's next step and talk about what it means that she is leaving the network that has been so important to her career. How Laura Ingraham got from Glastonbury to Fox News. Laura Ann Ingraham is a well-known person in American media, especially for her conservative views. She was born on June 19, 1963. Since October 2017, she has been the face of the Ingraham angle on Fox News. There, she talks about a lot of different political and social topics, which often leads to heated arguments. Besides her work on TV, she's also the editor-in-chief of LifeSet, a website that has news and comments. Before she became famous on TV, Laura had a radio show called The Laura Ingraham Show that was broadcast all over the country, where she talked to people from all over the country. Laura grew up in Glastonbury, Connecticut with a close-knit family. Anne Caroline, whose maiden name was Kozak, and James Frederick Ingraham. I had a daughter named Laura. Laura's past is very rich in history. Her Polish grandparents came to the United States and brought traditions and ideals from their home country with them. Her father, on the other hand, was born in Ireland and raised in England. Laura did well in school and got involved in her community as a child in Glastonbury. She finished from Glastonbury High School in 1981 and planned to go to college and work in the media afterward. Because Laura loved books and languages so much, she went to Dartmouth College to study English literature and Russian. The school gave her a Bachelor of Arts in 1985. Laura's college years were very important, shaping her ideas and helping her get better at talking to people. After high school, she took her skills to Washington, D.C. and worked as a speechwriter for President Ronald Reagan's domestic policy assistant for a few years. His job helped her get better at explaining complicated ideas and gave her a lot of useful political experience. Laura went to the University of Virginia School of Law to get a law degree because she wanted to learn more and have more job choices. While she was there, she became a notes editor for the Virginia Law Review. This is where she learned about the law and added to legal scholarship. She got her JD in 1991 and was ready to take on new tasks in the media and the legal fields. How did her amazing career begin? How did she go from writing speeches to hosting TV shows? Late in the 1980s, Laura Ingraham got her start in politics when she worked as a speechwriter for the Reagan administration, especially for the Advisor on Domestic Policy. She was able to learn more about how policies are made and become more involved in politics through this job. During this time, she was also editor of The Prospect for a short time. The Prospect is a magazine put out by concerned Princeton graduates, where she helped shape conversations about values and schooling that were more conservative. Laura's work took a big turn after she got her law degree in 1991. She worked as a law clerk for U.S. Judge Ralph K. Winter Jr. He was Chief Judge of the Second Circuit from 1991 to 1992. This important job gave her a look into how the court system works and let her work closely with a well-known judge. After that, she had the pleasure of working as a clerk for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas from 1992 to 1993. This had a big impact on how she thought about law. After her clerkships, Laura became an attorney at the well-known law firm Skadden, Arps, Slate, Meagher, and Flom. There, she improved her legal knowledge and gained useful experience working under a lot of stress. In 1995, she was on the cover of the New York Times Magazine, which had a story about young conservatives making their mark in politics and the media. This brought attention to her growing fame in conservative groups. In the year 1996, Laura and her co-worker J.P. Lefkowitz put together the first Dark Ages weekend as a contrast to the more open-minded Renaissance weekend. The goal of this event was to bring together conservatives with similar views to talk about ideas and plans. This event strengthened Laura's place in the conservative movement even more. There was a time in 1996 when Laura's first job in the media was as a host on MSNBC. A lot of people knew her right away because of her sharp comments and interesting personality. In the late 1990s, she moved to CBS as an analyst and became the host of the MSNBC show Watch It. Even though she was successful, Laura wanted her own show where she could say what she really thought. Fox News Channel saw her promise in 2008 and gave her a 3-week test run on a new show called Just In. This chance was a first step in her work as a TV host. Finally, in October 2017, Laura Ingraham got a big job as the host of the Ingraham Angle. a show that would make her voice and conservative views on national matters even stronger. Laura has gone from writing speeches to hosting TV shows and is now a powerful figure in conservative media. She changes the way people talk about important problems in American society and is known as a pioneering radio host and important media figure. Laura Ingraham started The Laura Ingraham Show in April 2001. A radio show that was broadcast all over the country and quickly became a mainstay in right media. The show got a huge audience because it was on 306 stations and XM satellite radio. At first, Westwood One syndicated it, but Laura made a smart move in 2004 and moved it to the talk radio network. This change gave her more opportunities to reach and affect people in the radio world. Her hard work and interesting personality paid off. Talkers magazine named The Laura Ingraham Show as the 5th most popular radio show in the United States in 2012. This award showed how well she could connect with people on a wide range of topics from politics to culture, but after working for the talk radio network for almost 10 years, Laura chose to leave. She told everyone in November 2012 that she was leaving. Michael Savage of the Savage Nation, another well-known host, also left the network soon after her, which caused a big change in TRN's schedule. It didn't take long for Ingraham to find a new place for her show. As of January 2nd, 2013, her new show, which was broadcast by Courtside Entertainment Group, gave her new chances and challenges. With this new job, she was able to keep working in radio and keep reaching a lot of people. The show unfortunately ended in December 2018, but Laura has changed with the times by creating podcasts for Courtside's Podcast One section. This shows how versatile she is and how much she wants to stay relevant in the media world, which is always changing. Laura's background in writing and law has shaped how she approaches radio work in addition to her radio work. She got her Bachelor of Arts degree in 1985 from Dartmouth College, where she studied English literature and Russian. This education not only helped her communicate better, but it also sparked her interest in learning more about complicated problems. In the years after college, Laura moved to Washington, D.C. and worked as a speechwriter for President Ronald Reagan's domestic policy assistant for a number of years. This experience put her in touch with politics and helped her become better at explaining conservative points of view. Laura went to the University of Virginia School of Law to get a law degree because she wanted to learn more and advance her job. She worked as a notes editor for the Virginia Law Review while she was in school. There, she added to legal scholarship and learned more about the law. She got her Juris Doctor in 1991 and was ready to take on new tasks in both the legal and media fields. Let's talk for a while about her political ideas. Politico called Laura Ingraham a name-brand provocateur and said she was no stranger to generating controversy. By Variety, she is a controversial voice in conservative media. People pay attention to how she talks on the air because she gets into heated arguments about race, gun violence, and other touchy subjects. Ingraham has said that Ronald Reagan, Robert Bork, and Pat Buchanan were important to her and helped shape her ideas and way of writing about politics. In Laura's senior year at Dartmouth College, she was in charge of the Dartmouth Review, an independent school newspaper. Because of this job, her controversial editing choices came to the public's attention. She sent a reporter to a meeting of the Campus Gay Students Association in 1984 as a spy. After the meeting, Ingraham put out a transcript with the names of the people who were there and called them cheerleaders for latent campus sodomites. A lot of people didn't like this move, especially since participants had been read an oath of secrecy. Ingraham defended what she did by saying that the meeting wasn't private because it was publicized. She said that putting the names out there was a problem of freedom of the press. Jeffrey Hart, the faculty advisor for the Dartmouth Review, said that her views on homosexuality were the most extreme anti-homosexual views he could think of. Hart said that Ingraham avoided a nearby restaurant because she thought the waitstaff might be gay, which shows how strong her beliefs were at the time. But in the late 1990s, Ingraham's ideas about homosexuals changed in a big way. In 1997, she wrote an article for the Washington Post in which she talked about how her view changed after seeing how her gay brother Curtis and his partner handled a difficult time when Curtis' partner was diagnosed with AIDS. Sad to say, Curtis's partner died in the end from the cancer. Because of this personal experience, Ingraham had to rethink her beliefs and show that she had a better understanding of the problems the LGBTQ group faces. Even with this change, her relationship with her brother has been rough. Curtis has spoken out against Laura, calling her a monster and saying that her earlier views came from their abusive drunken father, who he called a Nazi sympathizer. Ingraham has said that she supports civil unions for people of the same gender, but she still believes that marriage should only be between a man and a woman. A strong voice on immigration and views that aren't popular. When it comes to immigration, Laura Ingraham is a well-known and sometimes divisive figure in the American media. Because she criticizes loudly and is against immigrants, she is a well-known conservative voice. Ingraham has always been against different attempts to change immigration laws, especially the Joint Comprehensive Immigration Reform Plan put forward by the U.S. Senate back in 2013. She spoke out against the idea of letting more foreign workers into the US, saying that it would be offensive to the American way of life. This feeling is similar to how Ingraham has felt about immigration in general throughout her work. In 2014, she didn't hold back her criticism of House Majority Leader Eric Cantor after he said he supported the DREAM Act, a bill that would have given young immigrants a way to become citizens. Dave Bratt, a candidate who was very against the establishment, was running against Cantor in the primary at that time. The New York Times wrote that Ingraham was so against Cantor that she said, "Few people did more than Miss Ingraham to propel Mr. Bratt from obscurity to national conservative hero." She thought that Bratt's victory was a big rejection of established immigration reform. She said that immigration reform is dead after that race's result. Later that same year, Ingraham started to say bad things about Renee Elmers, a Republican congresswoman, who had shown support for a broad immigration bill that would have given about 11 million undocumented immigrants a way to become citizens. Ingraham told Elmers that she supported amnesty and used what she called liberal talking points in an interview, which she said made her viewers angry. This event made it even clearer that she is a strong opponent of any kind of immigration change. That could help illegal people become citizens. Comments that caused a stir about Ebola. Ingraham has been in the news for more than just her views on immigration. She has also made controversial comments about other topics. She said that President Barack Obama sent aid to Africa during the Ebola spread in September 2014 as a way to make up for his feelings of guilt over colonialism. People didn't like this comment, and it showed how Ingraham often ties unrelated political actions to bigger ideological stories, which often leads to debates among both her supporters and opponents. Criticism of laws on immigration. In September 2017, there were rumors that President Donald Trump was thinking about making a deal with Democrats to grant freedom to about 800,000 Dreamers. Ingraham went on Twitter to say she didn't agree with this. The woman asked, "How much will the American working class's real pay go up in 15 years? When will parents who send their kids to public schools that are already too crowded get amnesty?" This tweet summed up her view that immigration policies that could help illegal immigrants should not come before the needs of American workers, especially when it comes to public schools and wages that don't go up. In July 2018, Ingraham made her complaints even stronger by going after Republican Congressman Kevin Yoder. When Yoder said he supported a Democratic bill that would undo Attorney General Jeff Sessions' order that stopped immigration judges from giving asylum to people fleeing domestic violence or gang violence, Ingraham told him he was betraying the Trump goal. Her public criticism of other Republicans showed how determined she was to take a strict stand on immigration, requiring people to follow the rules set by the government. In February 2018, Ingraham was in the news for saying mean things about LeBron James and Kevin Durant. After James said that Trump's comments were both funny and scary, Ingraham told the players to be quiet and dribble. A lot of people said that what she said was racist. This made Ingraham say that she wasn't trying to be racist when she said what she did. She talked about her earlier book, Shut Up and Sing, to show that she had always said that artists shouldn't make political statements. This showed how sensitive race and fame are in America and how people reacted differently to her words depending on which athletes she was talking about. On the other hand, Ingraham got in trouble for backing white NFL player Drew Brees when he attacked players who kneeled during the national anthem as a form of protest. People who didn't agree with her pointed out that she had different reactions to similar situations involving athletes of different races. This made people wonder whether or not her comments were fair and consistent. Ingraham also supported the controversial policy of separating children of undocumented immigrants from their parents, which is called Zero Tolerance, in a show on June 18, 2018. She said that the facility's housing for separated children was like summer camps and boarding schools. She played down the serious concerns that critics had raised about how these children were being treated. She said that the reaction against the policy was just fake liberal outrage and that her defense was based on her commitment to strict immigration enforcement. During this time, she called people crossing the border a slow-rolling invasion of the United States. This was seen as an offensive term. David Hogg, a school shooting survivor and activist, called for a second boycott of her show after what she said. Hogg had previously led a campaign telling sponsors to stay away from the Ingraham angle, but marketers talked to by The Hollywood Reporter said they had no plans to leave, which showed that her audience stayed strong. Help for Donald Trump and bad things said about Kamala Harris. In the media, Laura Ingraham is known for her strong support of Donald Trump and her harsh attack of Vice President Kamala Harris. These changes show not only her political views but also the larger party gaps in American politics and the media. Since the beginning of his political career, Ingraham has been a devoted backer of Donald Trump. When he became the Republican choice in 2016, Ingraham spoke in favor of him at the Republican National Convention. Her support for and comments on Trump have made it clear that she agrees with him, making her one of his most vocal supporters in right media. As Trump was president, Ingraham often served as an unofficial advisor to the administration. This role brought up questions about the ethics of journalism. She has been known to blur the lines between journalism and partisanship by openly supporting Trump's policies and plans and downplaying or ignoring criticisms of him. Her backing for Trump's plans and her status as a well-known Fox News host made her more powerful in conservative circles. Ingraham has always been critical of Kamala Harris, even though she supported Trump. Her criticisms are usually about Harris's skills and behavior. In a part of the Ingraham story, Ingraham said Harris wasn't serious and questioned her ability to be vice president. This criticism matched what Trump and other conservative commentators have said, especially about Harris's laughing and how he acts when he's in public. Ingraham specifically pointed out Harris's speech at the Munich Security Conference in 2022, in which she warned over and over again of a possible war in Europe because of rising relations with Russia. Ingraham made fun of Harris's comments by saying that her ideas about important issues like Ukraine were too much for most people to handle. This comment made Ingraham's plan to make fun of Harris's public appearances even stronger. She is seen as not understanding how important foreign problems are. Ingraham's comments often end with video clips showing Harris's public interactions, such as times when she is seen hugging famous people like Bill and Hillary Clinton. By calling Harris chief hugger, Ingraham makes Harris's job seem less important, implying that her friendly and approachable way of dealing with politics makes her less qualified for the job. Some conservatives like this way of putting things because they think that politicians showing feeling is a sign of weakness. Recently, something cool took place. In a recent episode on the Ingraham Angle, Laura Ingraham criticized Kamala Harris for not having enough experience as a presidential candidate, saying that her main traits were the way she showed how she felt. Ingraham said, but she feels, laughs, and hugs, which seems to suggest that these traits are not enough for serious political leadership. Ingraham tried to make Harris's kindness and ability to connect with others seem like flaws instead of strengths by focusing on these traits. Ingraham's comment is part of a larger criticism that is often leveled at female leaders, which doesn't take emotional intelligence or social skills seriously. Some of her fans have agreed with this line of attack, but it has also gotten a lot of negative feedback, especially on social media sites like X, formerly Twitter. After Ingram's show, people on X quickly pushed back against what she said. A lot of people talked about how important understanding and leadership are, claiming that Harris's strength, not her weakness, is her ability to connect with people through kindness and warmth. Ingram's criticism may be a reflection of a deeper cultural bias against showing emotion in politics. As one user pointed out, showing compassion and understanding is a bad thing in their book. Someone else said nice things about Harris, saying that hugging, smiling, and being herself are her superpowers. This statement is very different from Ingram's, and it makes me think that Harris's emotional honesty is a big part of her political identity. This running story about Harris is not unique. The Republican presidential nominee, Donald Trump, has also made fun of Harris, calling her laughing Kamala at a campaign rally in Michigan. His words are similar to what Ingraham said. Conservatives laugh at female lawmakers when they show emotion, and this story supports that idea. But like Ingraham, Trump was criticized for this characterization. Many people said that making fun of people makes sensitivity and good leadership less important. Now, because of these and other problems, a report spread that Fox was also going to fire Laura Ingraham. So, does this make sense? Get kicked out of Fox? At the beginning of May 2024, rumors went viral on social media that Laura Ingraham's famous show, The Ingraham Angle, had been canceled by Fox News. This story said that the show was canceled because of pressure from sponsors and health problems with the host. But when you look more closely, you can see that these stories are based on a complicated web of false information and cheating on the internet. The fake news started on a Facebook page that had a bunch of ads with shocking headlines like "You'll never see Laura Ingraham again." These ads smartly avoided making direct claims about the show's cancellation so they wouldn't get in trouble with content reviewers or advertising rules. The company that owns both Facebook and Instagram is called Meta. Lets pages start advertising campaigns that work across all of its channels. This means that false ads can quickly get to a lot of people before they can be checked for accuracy or shown to be false. When people clicked on these ads, they were taken to a domain called borat2.nk that looked a lot like Fox News' official website. The fake news story's caption said, "McCallum's time slot takeover." This shocking language was chosen to get people's attention and get them to react, playing on the existing issues about how advertisers affect the media. The piece, which said it was written by Heaton L., added to the story by saying that Ingraham had been diagnosed with a type of dementia and was treating it with CBD gummies. It even seemed like she bought a recipe for these sweets to sell to people. This mix of health claims and alleged business moves not only made things more interesting, but it also played on people's fears and worries about mental health. Spreading this kind of false information can lead to bad things. False rumors about a public figure's health can make mental health problems seem more common, and rumors that a show will be canceled can hurt both sponsors and viewers. It's getting harder to trust the media because the lines between real news and fake stories are becoming less clear. In addition, these strategies show how hard it is for social media sites to moderate material. As advertisers gain more power over television choices, it's clear that content creators like Ingraham are worried. Misleading information can make these problems worse by making fans and sponsors even more angry. This is called unpacking misinformation. There was a lot of talk in early May 2024 that Laura Ingraham's show, The Ingraham Angle, was going to be canceled, but as of June 10th, 2024, the show is still going. Furthermore, there has been no public proof that Ingraham is experiencing any of the health problems mentioned in the false reports. The sensational story said that famous people like Fox host Sean, political commentator Ann Coulter, and actor Kevin Costner were promoting a product that had something to do with Ingraham. It also said crazy things like that the big drug company Pfizer was trying to get Fox News to stop Ingraham from selling his products. Not only do these claims lack proof, they also try to change people's minds by using fake endorsements. The story says that CBD products can help treat dementia, but there is no scientific evidence to back this up. At this point, there aren't any good studies that prove CBD can help treat this disease. When CBD is used for such major health problems, it raises ethical concerns, especially when it is used for profit without any solid proof. The rise of ads that aren't what they seem to be. Sadly, these kinds of fake news stories and ads are very popular on social media sites. They often say that their products have been endorsed by well-known media personalities or shows to make it look like the products are real and get people who aren't paying attention to engage with or buy the products. Even though many social networks say they check the content of ads, there are still a lot of false ads that often make scammers a lot of money. At first look, these campaigns may seem real because of how well thought out they are. A lot of the time, they use professional design features and try to look like real news sources, which can fool even smart readers. It's easy to fall for these scams if you don't look closely. The false claims about Laura Ingraham and her show how important it is to know how to use media properly in today's digital world. People need to be careful and think carefully about the information they find, especially on social media. Getting people to understand that false ads can look like real news is an important part of making people smarter. What her ideas mean. Laura Ingraham has become a well-known figure in the right media and has a lot of power over public opinion, especially when it comes to controversial topics like immigration. She has strong views that many conservatives agree with. They like how she is honest and confident. But the same method often gets her harsh criticism from people who think her comments are hurtful or not based on facts. A lot of people really like Ingraham because she can say what she thinks with passion. A lot of her supporters like how she sticks to traditional conservative beliefs and criticizes liberal policies. For example, her strong opposition to comprehensive immigration reform is typical of many people in her audience who think that such measures are bad for American jobs and national identity. People who want a strong, unapologetic voice in a media environment that often feels fragmented and politically charged, like her catchphrases and emphatic language. Even though Ingraham is well known, her speech is sometimes controversial. Some people say that what she says spreads false information and makes people less united in their towns. For instance, her description of immigration as a slow-moving invasion has been criticized as exaggerated and scary, making the environment less welcoming for newcomers. This has caused more people to talk about the role of media figures in shaping public conversation, and what might happen if people use hurtful words. Even though people have different opinions about her, Ingraham has had a huge impact on the national conversation. Because she is always in conservative media, she can change the stories about immigration and other important problems in the United States. She helps her fans stick to their beliefs while challenging the ideas of people on the political left by talking about these issues in a way that speaks to her audience. As a major figure in the conservative media, Ingraham has to deal with a complicated world where politics and public opinion meet. Because she doesn't back down from controversial topics, she stays at the top of national conversations and has an impact on both her audience and the political conversation as a whole. To sum up, Laura Ingraham is a big deal in conservative media because of her strong views and divisive style. Her words have won her a lot of supporters, but they also lead to a lot of abuse. Ingraham's willingness to talk about controversial issues keeps her a strong voice, actively changing the conversation in America today about immigration and other important issues. As the political scene changes, her part in this situation is likely to stay the same, showing how hard it is to live in a split country. What do you think about this? Please tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell to get notifications when we post new videos. To see more interesting videos like this one, click the video on your screen right now.